I'm Vaneetha Green and I've lived in Palmer's Green since 1969.
That's lovely. We're talking about Broomfield House and the mother and baby clinic today. Do you remember the first time you went to the clinic?
Yes, I went just prior to my confinement for a few exercise classes.
Oh, they did exercise
Yes,
classes
they
there?
did, yes.
Oh, that was nice. Did you start to meet other mothers?
Yes, I met one in particular, but unfortunately, I had quite a good relationship with her, friendship. Unfortunately, she moved to Canada soon after. But through her, I met a couple of others.
Oh, because it's quite a difficult time when you're a new mother. It's quite lonely, isn't it? So it's
yes.
really great to meet other mothers. So did your health visitor try to introduce you to other people, or do you think it was through friends?
No, she didn't. It was just sheer luck, I think, that I met other people. I used to see Tina with the buggy on the road, and Shirin spoke to me for the first time at Menzies. There used to be a Menzies in Palmer's Green, and introduced herself, and I introduced myself. And from there, I think it went from there.
So the other members of the group have talked about meeting up at each other's houses and going to different play groups. Do you remember that time?
Oh, very well. Yes, that's how I survived, I think.
So what happened? How did you...
I met Tina on the road, and then met others through Tina. And we met at the Red Cross and sometimes in each other's houses. And that's how I met all the others, and it turned out to be quite a big group.
How big do you think it was?
I'm sure there were definitely about 15 to 20 in the group.
So it must have been quite hard to fit into each other's houses if 20 people turned up.
Well, not really, because within the big group there were slightly smaller groups. They were not cliques, but it all depended on how much time you spent at home, play groups you went to, etc.
Oh, that's nice. I bet the children enjoyed it.
Oh, they loved it. They have wonderful memories and photographs.
Oh, that's lovely. And so could you tell me a little bit about the Red Cross Playgroup?
Well, it wasn't a play group. We were just given the building. It wasn't a very clean building, but we did move around the furniture and did some sweeping, etc. No, it wasn't a formal play group.
Oh, so
it was
you
just
organised it?
Yes, we organised it ourselves.
So you just had use of the building?
Yes,
how often
that's
did
all.
you go there?
Actually, it was once a week, I think.
Oh, that was nice.
For quite a long time.
Tina spoke about the Palmer's Green sort of action committee to get a nursery.
Yes, I was in that as well, and we did a bit of fundraising. And after a few years, I don't know really what happened. I think we all started teaching, going back to our jobs.
And the children started
school,
so there was no longer any need for it.
No.
Were there any local childminders?
Yes, there was no one. No, I had time off from school teaching, so I didn't need anyone. But I think there were one or two quite well-known people in the area.
So that some people work part-time and some people...
Yes, and we helped each other. I know Tina started to go back to teaching. She had to go for a course at Middlesex Polytechnic, as it was known. And I used to look after Sammy. And then Tina used to look after Nigel for me. And so we did a lot of that.
So you did a lot of sort of helping each other. So it was a really strong mutual
Yes, I think that's
society.
why we've lasted so long.
When did you sort of meet up with each other when you were back at work?
Not really, no. Unless we saw each other on the road. Or
When did you start meeting up again?
I think maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, on a regular basis. I think we had our own friends. I was quite friendly with Shirin for quite some time, and I think the others had certain strong friendships.
And then
we're
the
back
Monday
together.
started.
Yes, the Monday started.
Who started the Mondays?
Well, no, I don't think it was. Nobody started it.
Mm.
It just so happened that we had some of us had classes on a Monday, and it went on from there.
Oh, that's nice. So you've been friends for a long time now.
Very long time.
So
Yes.
you're nearly about 40.
Stuart was 3 months old when I met Shirin.
Mm.
So now he's 40,
So
nearly 41.
So it's 40 years.
And Tina and the others soon after.
That's lovely. Now, I also wanted to ask you a few other questions apart from the group. I wanted to ask you a bit about what it was like in a mixed race marriage in the early days in Palmer's Green.
It was very interesting because I noticed when I used to walk around with Derek, people nudging and looking at me, not in a nasty way, but curiosity. And it was very interesting. I went to a wedding, and the husband of the father of the bridegroom came up to me, and he said, "I remember you in Palmer's Green, and you were one of the first mixed marriage couples I had seen."
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
That is
And it really
interesting.
is.
So it was just, as you say, just curiosity. There wasn't
I think
any
so.
animosity.
Yes. No, none whatsoever.
No. And I can remember going to, I think it was an event at the Sri Lankan women's organisation. Was there something that I went to? So that was an organisation that you were part of, was it?
Locally.
Locally, yes.
No, that must have been the Racial Harmony group we had.
Was it the Racial Harmony group?
Yes.
There was some dancing
Yes.
and food. And, I thought it was...
That was many years ago, yes.
Yeah.
That seems to have fizzled out as well.
Was that a useful group? Was it?
It was a very useful group. There were several campaigns, petitions, and etc. And it was also a meeting place. People, and we had dancing, etc., which was, I suppose, culturally educational.
Oh, that was nice. Did people go from all sectors there? Was it mainly?
It was mainly Asian, I think, mainly, but there were others as well.
Mm.
A few West Indian people from the West Indies, but mainly Asian.
Where did you work when you taught locally, Vaneetha?
I started at Hazelwood Infant School under Miss Betty Cannon. My children went there first. Stuart started school, and I went to pick Stuart up, and the headmistress saw me and said that she'd heard that I was a teacher. And she asked me whether I'd like a couple of days teaching, a couple of mornings, and I think I was quite ready for it. So I said yes, and then she increased my time, and I spent a lot of time there.
How long do you think you worked there?
I think I started just before Nigel went to school. So he's 38 now. So it's a long time.
So about 30 years?
Yes.
About 30 years.
Just under 30 years, I think.
Just under 30 years. Did you enjoy your teaching there?
I loved it there. It was lovely. The children were delightful. And I know my children were very happy. And we had a lovely staff. And we still keep in touch. Several of the staff have retired. We still keep in touch.
That's great. How did you feel about teaching and living in the same area?
I didn't actually think of it as anything special. It was nice.
It was nice to be part of the community.
Yes, it was lovely. I still meet children and parents who remember me. I remember most of them. Sometimes their faces, not their names. Sometimes their names, not the faces.
I know I have a similar experience. It is lovely to find out how children have done, and we've been very lucky as ex-teachers of Hazelwood because the children seem to have done so well.
So they've done very well.
Which is lovely. We've done some recordings about the pantomime. Do you have any memories of the pantomime at Hazelwood?
I know that the parents did a lot of work behind the scenes, and I always enjoyed the pantomimes.
That's great. Thanks, Vaneetha.
Thank you.